What's going on, everybody? So in this video, we are going to be covering some of the latest NFT updates, up-and-coming mints, as well as some news on our in real life meetup in Singapore coming up real soon. Starting things off, we're going to get into the market sentiments, right? What's going on in the markets, and are we dying or are we going up? And as you know, Ethereum has kind of been pumping a little bit all the way to like 1.2, and now it's 1.1. In my personal opinion, it probably will trade sideways. Maybe it'll pump a tiny bit, but it's a lot more likely to fall in my opinion. So you definitely want to watch out for your entry and exit strategy. If you are buying Ethereum, let's say at $1,000 or $900 and you're going to hold for many years, then that's a whole different type of strategy where you can buy and DCA into it, dollar cost average. But if you're looking more short term, I would actually wait for it to fall even sharply or sharper. Maybe there's going to be some news of a crypto exchange suddenly going down or a stable coin dropping and everything falls again. So I would probably watch out for those kind of things if you are trying to enter, then exit on the short term. But if you're trying to, invest in Ethereum in the long term, you're just trying to stack ETH over time while it's trading sideways and everything's quiet, it's not a bad time to enter, although it's not financial advice. Do your own research. Now, when we are looking at non-sen blue chip index, top 10 NFTs, everything's kind of been trading sideways the last few days. If we're looking at the top 500, again, also trading sideways, so not a lot of action going on. There are definitely less traders in the space, less people interested in buying and selling. Everything's kind of stable-ish for now. But overall, people are pretty skeptical of mints coming out. People ask a lot of questions of like, what's the utility? What's this and that? And so right now, for a lot of projects, it's actually very difficult time to mint and sell out, and we've seen that for other projects coming out if you've kind of been following on crypto Twitter, which just means that everyone who is an entrepreneur or project founder, they're actually forced to become better. They're forced to come up with better offers to entice their potential holders, because you are investing in a way in a company through an NFT in some senses. So actually during a bear market, that is when you're able to see more clearly of like who's actually trying to build something, what is something realistic, what is something that could be a potential big company in the future. And then we see all these other people who are throwing a lot of buzzwords. There's no need to take your risk on them, because why would you, right? Now, the first project I want to talk about today is going to be the Saudis. They recently just minted on the 10th. This kind of been blowing up, right? So I saw them maybe around like 0.3, 0.4 in our Parallax Discord. By the way, if you want to join the Parallax Discord where we talk about the latest alpha, make sure to join. Link is in the description, and it's absolutely for free for now, right? Outside looking in, if you kind of just look at it, you don't look at the price of like the volume and anything like that, you would think that it's pretty much just like a copy of like CryptoPunks combined with the Habibis, where it's kind of like a similar kind of vibe. So when you're kind of looking just at the art and then the offer that they're proposing on their website, right? Not looking at price, not looking at volume, but just looking at the art and the offer on the website, it's not really that great, right? Because it's like you don't even know what you're getting. They're not promising anything. So it just kind of feels like they are running that free mint meta where they're gonna make a lot of money on secondary market, because this kind of project doesn't take that much work to create. It's actually pretty quick because you're copying other people's art and just adding like a little different pieces to it. And then from there, you collect your royalties. You don't have to promise anything. And then if you did disappear, if you're the project founder, then nobody can blame you, right? Because you never really promised anything. You just wanted to sell this thing, right? I see, it doesn't really make sense to me. Like the Saudis are buying CryptoPunks, Bitcoins, and oil barrels, but like, so what, right? It doesn't mean like this project is going to use your funds to buy anything and give you anything back. It's very unclear, right? So it's like max bidding to the top. What are they max bidding on? When we're going on their Twitter, it's more memes. So a lot of meme stuff going on. Although I could be wrong, and maybe there's some crazy depth to it and I just don't understand anything about NFTs, but in my eyes, outside looking in, it kind of just feels like almost like a meme coin. So like if you trade altcoins or meme coins, you would know that there's a lot more volume in those coins, and what happens is that people just make up anything like Elon Musk goes to Mars coin, and people will spend like hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars buying these things, right? So pretty much what they're doing is gambling, because in the end it's going to go to zero, but they're trying to put the money in, see how high they can ride it, and then they're going to exit, and then pretty much just gambling, right? And so with these Saudis, because of the low effort art that I see and the way they present the website and the fact that they don't promise anything and everything that they supposedly will do is super unclear. Are they going to buy NFTs with your money, which I'm not a fan of as well? People want to give me hate for saying what I want to say, but like it just is what it is, and I've seen so many projects do something similar that go to zero. The only one that didn't really go to zero was like Goblin Town, right? We've seen like certain influencers that I've seen on Twitter, they like minted like quite a bit of these NFTs right in the beginning, and then they dumped like a bunch of them onto their followers, right? So you always want to be careful about these kind of projects. And a lot of times when things are too good to be true, or people are like, oh, you don't understand, like this is going to be the next thing, 99% of the time it's not going to be the next thing. The only time it was Goblin Town, okay? Now in other news, we're going to be talking about Cyberkongz, right? One of my first, or it actually was my first NFT. I got a Cyberkongz baby, and I like to follow along to see what they're doing every now and then, and it seems like they are updating their VX files. So obviously we've seen RTFKT Studios with CLon X really unlock the potential of their creator economy money and allow people to use their 3D files. And so Cyberkongz, I think they also saw that, and then they're like, all right, we got to up our game. They have the VX files, which you could already use, but then they upgraded it so you can use the fingers of these Kongs, which is great because if you're playing a game where you're going to need the fingers of it, like let's say something on the Oculus Rift, right, where there's like fingers, you're able to use it, right? And then also the 3D model itself moves in a certain way, like it's very like Kongish. So I think they're integrating that into the actual body of the Cyberkongz, but I'm not exactly sure because I'm not expert in like 3D models. In my personal opinion, when it comes to VX, Cyberkongz VX is probably one of the best VX models. I'm not telling you to buy it, you know, don't buy it because I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that in general, when you're looking at all the different VX's model out there, usually they can only move like their arm up and down and their feet is like this and it's like very stiff, whereas these models are like very fluid, right? Which, you know, obviously is going to be a lot more difficult to do. So in the future, could I see these VX models being used in different games and things like that on a really big level? Possibly, but I think they still have a lot of building to go. So let's go ahead and get into the prices of a Cyberkongz. The Genesis is going to be 24 ETH. The babies are going to be 2.6 pretty much. VX is going to be 0.8. So it's actually a pretty positive thing that the VX is holding at a 0.8 during a bear market because the supply is like 15K, right? Which is actually quite a lot. Floor is holding up pretty healthy. We've seen other collections with 15K like be a lot lower, right? The babies, I'm a little disappointed that it's only 2.6 because, you know, I got like 2 of them. For me being in the Cyberkongz community, and I actually did go to a Cyberkongz event during NFT NYC, there is definitely a community there, and they definitely are building stuff, and they're definitely trying to encourage more community members to build on top of their ecosystem. Now, how successful that will be is pretty much a different story, right? But most projects in general in the NFT space as is right now, it's actually very difficult for them to build on top of their ecosystem. So we've seen somebody's building this game called Conquest, which is quite interesting. They're going to use the VX models and build a whole game from it. Like, what is this game actually going to be fun? Is it going what is it going to be? It looks like it's going to be these like little mini games, which is kind of interesting. But we'll see, right? Like, we'll see if it's actually something that people want to play. And I think also Neo Tokyo is trying to get their community to build on top of their platform as well. But when it comes to like a decentralized like experiment organization, Cyberkongz definitely is still leading the way, although the interest in these kind of things definitely have dropped over time. But yeah, something to watch out for. And again, I'm not saying you should buy it. I'm not saying it's a great opportunity to buy because who knows, right? Maybe it doesn't take off. I just want to show you that an example of like an experimental project where, you know, allowing the creators to create on top of their platform. When it comes to like building like cool stuff, definitely RTFKT Studios and CloneX is doing a pretty bang up job when it comes to like creating that public perception of like something cool. So RTFKT Studios are doing a CloneX casting, calling all clones. We are looking for clones in each DNA to be the stars in an upcoming secret project. What will this project be? Who knows? But it's interesting that they would encourage their audience to want to submit their clones, and it's a way for the community to be more involved within RTFKT. So we see like Ash Child, my boy over here, he's got this like pretty sick Divine Angel CloneX, and he's like, yo, pick me, right? And then we have Cass over here, the other homie. I guess he made this on like Blender or on a Unreal Engine or something, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to be casted. When it comes to these 3D models, I think in the future, once people kind of see like what Cyberkongz is doing, what CloneX is doing, especially like CloneX, because they're definitely appealing to a wider audience, more and more people are gonna like kind of copy that and take inspiration and like create these 3D files that you can use in different places. What's going to happen is that having a 3D file is going to be the commodity because everyone's going to look at CloneX and pretty much just copy them. But I think where the real value comes from is like, how cool is it to own a CloneX, or how cool is it to own an NFT? Are you able to flex? Are you able to get in the community that is hard to get into? You have to buy into it, right? Really, it's all these like emotional factors that get people to actually buy these things, because at the end of the day, NFTs are very luxury product, very high risk asset class. Having a 3D model is not going to be enough, but having a 3D model that gives you some type of social status or some kind of exclusivity feeling, I think that's really going to be the key to allowing these projects to be successful. And by the way, guys, I am going to Singapore on July 21st to July 26th. And then on Monday, which is going to be July 25th, that's when we're thinking of having the Parallax official meetup. And we're thinking of having it at the NFT gallery called Meta Jam Asia. And if you didn't know, there are a lot of NFT projects that have done their events over there. And so we want to do something special for the holders, maybe give you a +1. We're still working out the details, so nothing is finalized yet. But then if you're in Singapore during this time, July 25th is the date that we are planning to have our meetup. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do a little talk, little interview, maybe teach you guys something. Who knows what it will be? I'm pretty confident we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun. So if you're in Singapore, definitely send me a message, send me a DM. If there's someone you think I should meet, let me know. All right, so the next up and coming thing that we got to watch out for during the NFT bear market is going to be ArtBlocks Curated, okay? So ArtBlocks has two different collections. The curated one is like obviously more curated, where people are selected to generative projects. And then there's like the other one where like anybody can like, you know, sell stuff there. I wouldn't recommend that one because like a lot of the stuff is not that great and too much supply. But right now, there's definitely a lot of buzz around ArtBlocks Curated. And if you go on Opensea, it'll be like explore the ArtBlocks Curated and you're gonna get like different collections here, right? So if you're not really into fine art, you don't know much going on, you definitely should check out the Discord channel on ArtBlocks to learn about, you know, what's going on over there, because I hear a lot of great things about it. A lot of people are comparing it to like, you know, the early days CryptoPunks Discord, where people are just like sharing knowledge about CryptoPunks, but now it's ArtBlocks, right? So the only one that I personally really know, I'm not that into like generative art, is going to be Chromie Squiggles, which is going to be the first collection by the founder of ArtBlocks, and it's just very simple like crayon kind of thing, right? So you're like, oh, why would someone pay 12 Ethereum for one of these, right? It's because it was the first, right? So it's the cultural significance of being the first, one of the first generative art projects that kind of kicked off the whole ArtBlocks movement. And we've seen, you know, during this time, even during a bear, the volume for this since June has been picking up quite a bit, where the average price was like 6 Ethereum and now it literally went to like 12, 14 Ethereum, right? You know, the price of Ethereum has kind of been dropping, so it's like kind of balances out, but still though, you know, it's a lot of Ethereum. And something to know, and something I've been studying about modern art, because I would consider this modern art because this literally came out like not that long ago. Like I think you have to understand like why people buy these kind of things, right? One is like cultural significance of like this NFT time, and it moves so fast. So 1 year feels like 5 years, right? And then the other thing is like you have to understand who the buyers of these things are. So it could be like, say, someone who's wealthy in like Web2, and then they're like, oh, I want to get into like NFTs, but I don't know what to buy. Everyone's going to recommend them like the historical NFTs like CryptoPunks. ArtBlocks would be another one. You're definitely going to get like outside money coming in, but also there are people who in the last couple years became significantly wealthy through crypto and NFTs, right? Then they also want to buy into art. And then art is like, it's very subjective. It's like you don't really have utility, but the utility for these kind of pieces is that, you know, what circles does it buy you into? What kind of like status does it give you? Does it give you like exclusive access to certain people or exclusive club? And that's really the name of the game when it comes to fine art. It's not about the utility, but it's more about the social utility, how it makes a person feel and how other people perceive you when you own that piece of art. So it's more of a status symbol, right? You know, when it comes to like art and these kind of things, from my understanding and me researching the topic a little bit more, when everybody around you has money, money is not really that of a big deal, right? Like if you're hanging out with your high school friends and nobody has money, you have a bunch of money, yeah, it's a big jump and people look at you a certain way. But when you're in a circle where everyone's an entrepreneur or everyone's like a successful NFT crypto investor and everyone has millions of dollars, you know, what's the thing that's going to separate you from everybody else? And a lot of time that's going to be taste, exclusivity, membership access, social status. So these are the things that typically like wealthier people care about. And so you want to look at these kind of collections and not just look at the art itself, but look at how other people in certain social circles perceive you when you own that piece of art, and then you can find, you know, why something is valuable. So, and a lot of times, you know, people who are watching this video, maybe you're not the type of person that would buy a Fidenza, for example, right? But these are definitely interesting concepts to be aware of and learn because they still apply to even at NFTs that are at lower price points. And so with that said, that's everything we got to cover for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.